Okay, today we are going to be working on simplifying numbers that are given to us in a square root. And our goal is to be able to take those numbers in square roots and be able to simplify them while still being able to provide an exact answer as well as a decimal approximation of those numbers. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with number one. In number one, we are trying to find the square root of 600. And the best way to do this is with a factor tree. Now, I realize that there is not a lot of space after each problem on your sheet of paper unless you write really, really small. So I strongly recommend that as you work out this problem, you do so either on the back of your paper or grab a white piece of paper by the calculators and work them out this way. All right, so 600 is going to go on top of my factor tree. And if you remember factor trees, you're just looking for the two factors, the two numbers that multiply to give you the number at the top. So 600, two factors for it are 10 and 60. 10 times 60 is 600. 10, 2 and 5 can give me 10. And that's it. I can't go 2 times 1 gives me 2, but that's it. 5 times 1 gives me 5, but that's it. So that's where I stop there. All right, now let's find the factors for 60. I can use 6 and 10. 6 times 10 is 60. 6. 2 times 3 is 6. And I stop there. I can't go any further. Let's look at 10. 2 times 5 is 10. And again, that's it. Those are my factors. All right, so I can rewrite the square root of 60 to just these factors that are on the bottom. I'm going to start by writing the 2's first. I have 1, 2, 3 2's. So 2 times 2 times 2. I only have one 3, so times 3. And then I have two 5's. So times 5 times 5. So 600 is the same thing as saying 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 5 times 5. And so now I'm ready to decide which numbers I need to pull out of my square root. And the way I do that is I only pull out the numbers that have a pair inside the square root. So for example, 2 and 2, that's a pair because there's two 2's. But 5 and 5 is also a pair because there's two 5's. So I'm going to pull out a 2 from inside the square root. And I'm also going to pull out a 5. And I write 2 times 5 outside of the square root. Inside the square root, the only thing that's left, I'm going to scratch out the 2's and the 5's. The only thing that's left is 2 times 3. Alright, so I can rewrite this. 2 times 5 is 10. And then inside the square root, 2 times 3 is 6. So this is what I call an exact answer. 10 times the square root of 6 is the exact same thing as saying the square root of 60. And you can check that in your calculator. If you type in the square root of 600, that gives you 24.49, and it keeps going. And if you type in 10 times the square root of 6, you will get the exact same answer. Having said that, for this problem, we are also required to provide a decimal approximation. Based off our calculator, the decimal approximation is just 24.49. Now remember what I said, if it's an approximation, you don't write an equal sign. You actually just write a squiggly line on top of where the first line would have gone. Okay, so our exact answer is 10 times the square root of 6, and our decimal approximation is 24.49.